Hi guys and welcome to my review of Shokugeki no Soma 178, The Shining City. And this chapter was actually really good. If you've been following me for a while, you'll know that I wasn't a fan of how the last few chapters worked out because I felt like there wasn't any tension. And even though there wasn't any drama in this chapter, it was really good because of all like the interactions and the character development and in general, mostly Erina's character, but I'll get into that. So in the beginning of the chapter, we have kind of the ending of the second phase of the exams, where all the students are giving their train tickets because they are told that there are still a few hours until the train leaves the station, so they are free to do whatever in this city. And then we have the rebels. They all go out together, and don't you find it weird that they are all wearing the same coats? I mean... different fashion tastes maybe? Or is it just standard uniform? Who knows? But they all go out together and we have this really cute moment where at first they're like, we should try some of the food and stuff like that, and we have Takumi and Soma. They are trying this ice cream even though it's the middle of winter, and they just geek out about how good this ice cream is and how you would replicate this flavor, and they just go out together to try to find some of the local cuisine, and that's really nice because Takumi and Soma interacting is the best thing. But then we have the rest of the rebels all going out in different groups because they want to see different things. And we end up with a group consisting of Megumi, Erina, Nikame, and Isami. Which is a really interesting group because Erina kind of has this interesting relationship with Megumi, who she has interacted a little bit with in kind of every arc ever since the autumn elections. And she has some past relations with Nikame. Also, before that, it's really great to see that Hisako and Erina, of course their relationship has been repairing lately because Hisako didn't feel she was good enough for Erina. And it's nice to see now that they are not as dependent on each other as they were before because they can now go do different things, but they still care enough about each other, and Hisako does tell Megumi to take care of Erina while she's off doing something else. And that's really, really nice to see both of those characters kind of develop with each other but not around each other, because it's not good if you are too dependent on a person, as Erina really have been on Hisako, and also the other way around. But yeah, going back to these four guys, we have Erina revealing to Megumi that she has been in Hokkaido a bunch of times, but every time she was there, it was always for work. It was always for for tasting things because she had the god tongue and because she was the heir to the Nakiri family, and she's kind of sad that she never really saw the city. And then we have Nikame kind of sympathizing with her and telling her that because she comes from another company where she's also the heir, she understands. Yet even though that her and Erina have come from the same kind of past, Erina have always had it so much harder than Nikame, which was something that Nikame always looked up to, and which was why she eventually ended up working for her. And we also find out that she never blamed Erina for throwing her away after she lost. And I think it's a really sweet moment when when Erina, she kind of thinks back and she reflects on Nikame's kindness, and she doesn't really understand why Nikame isn't mad with her because she threw her away after she lost just once, and now she's still kind of telling her that she looks up to her and that she admires the way that she was always so dignified even though she had a huge burden on her shoulders from a very tender age. But after Nikame has confessed all of this, she kind of just runs off in embarrassment and Isami goes after her. So by the end it's just Megumi and Erina who are left on a bench together. And they chit-chat a little bit back and forth and they bond and they talk about manga, which is really cute. And then suddenly they are interrupted by Soma and Takumi because apparently they have found this really great place to eat, but there are too many different options and they don't have, they're just not hungry enough. So they invite the two of them to go dine with them. And then we have probably my favorite my favorite moment from the chapter, which is when we have Soma, Takumi, and Megumi kind of running in front of Erina, and she reflects on the fact what she said to Megumi before of never seeing the city. And even though she's like, now I'm really seeing the city, I don't think she's really talking about the city. She's talking about the fact that she's kind of seeing everything in a new light. So where before the city she was shown, it was just for business, now she sees it as like a nice place where she can enjoy a walk with her friends, and she sees all the people around her differently, because Nikome before, she threw her away after she lost just once, and now she's going back to getting to being really good friends with her. And she always looked down on Soma, and Soma's kind who liked Takumi, and she didn't really think much of Megumi, and now they are all precious to her. And I think this moment is really sweet because it's enlightening for Erina to think in this new way. And she has just gone so far from when we first saw her in that first chapter or in the second chapter, whenever it was, because she truly was an awful person. I mean, let's not forget that she was awful to basically everyone. And now she has come so far, and even though like the way she acted it's justified by how her father treated her and how she was raised, she must be such a strong person for her to be able to break out of that evil cycle, and the psychology and just the way that her mind worked because her father had been so abusive to her. I think, honestly, her character development is just so amazing. I usually, when I talk about Shokugeki no Soma, I always say that Megumi's character development is one of the most beautiful things, and now I think that Erina's character development is just as beautiful, if not even more so. Because Megumi came out, she started as this very timid character, and she still kind of is, but she's so strong now. And she's able to stand on her own, where before she would always rely on Soma or just not have any faith in anything. But Erina has just come from such a dark place, and she's finally like stepping into the light, and that sounds so cliche, but that's basically what's happening. And I think that's just so beautiful. But going away from all the Erina things, we then have the four of them going to the train station, and they see the train and they're like, well, this must be our train. Even though we don't see any of the others, they must already have boarded. So they go on, and Erina makes a call to Hisako telling them that, well, they have boarded the train. And Hisako's just like, well, that's a bit weird, because our train left 30 minutes ago. And it just kind of dawns on them that, okay, so are we on the wrong train, or what's going on here? And then Rindo appears, which is kind of shocking because it's Rindo. She's not supposed to be here. She's a third year, for all I remember. But she comes and she tells them that, well, they are now at the part of the exam where their paths will begin to diverge, so they will be sent to different locations to take their exams. And for the rebels, the exam is going to consist of them battling with the Elite 10, which is super interesting. I have not been a fan of the two previous exams because it was literally just them having a slight disadvantage and then making some good food. Now they actually have to make food that is better than what the Elite 10 can produce. I am assuming this is going to work kind of like a Shokugeki. I feel like the level might not be as high as that, but I feel like it's definitely going to be so much harder from now on. Because again, it's not just about creating good food now, it's about creating food that is on par or above the food created by the best people in their school who have more experience than them and have more time and resources to make their food the best that it can be. So this is going to be super interesting. I also kind of really want to know what kind of exam is lying ahead of them, because obviously it's going to be different from what we've seen, and we've seen so far individual exams and group exams. So what I really hope for now, as we have 4 people, I kind of want it to be 2 people against like 1 Elite 10 member, just to make it somewhat fair. Of course, this is the rebels, so they would do something to not make it fair, but then again, resources and stuff like that. So what I would want is for Erina and Megumi to form a pair and Takumi and Soma to form a pair, because for both of those teams, I think there's some interesting chemistry. It could also be fun to see Erina and Soma work together, but I do think that's a little too early in the series. because we still have so long to go. Soma and Takumi, they are the diner duo, and I don't think that we've seen them actually work together, except for that one time where Takumi kind of helped out Soma in the, what was it, Moon Banquet Festival thing. You know, that time where he was up against Kuga all the time with Chinese food. So yeah, I don't think they've actually worked together, and I would love to see them create a dish together, some kind of like Japanese-Italian fusion, although Takumi's kind of, his whole deal is Japanese meets Italian food, but I would like for them to create some sort of dish together because their way of thinking is somewhat similar, but they both come from so different demographics, they come from very different areas, and although they kind of work in the same way, they are very, very different both in personality and style. Mikami and Arena, they have been together before in the Sekier, how do you pronounce that? You know, the arc where they were at the restaurant together. So they kind of have that weird chemistry. But yeah, I think that was kind of it for my review. I like the way that this chapter is going because I think a battle between the Elite 10 and the Rebels is going to be so much more interesting than just really weird exams where they have to make good food, because now they not only have to make acceptable food, but they have to make food that is potentially better than whatever the Elite 10 can produce. And so far the Elite 10 members that are left are all really, really good chefs. Erina is a 10th seed and Soma isn't even close to her. But yeah, that was kind of what I had to say about this chapter. If you liked anything that I had to say, please leave a thumbs up and leave in the comments below what you thought of the chapter. Did you like it as much as I did? Did you not because of the lack of action? Or yeah, what did you think of the chapter? And if you want to see more of me, or if you're into One Piece or Haikyuu, which I also do reviews of, then please subscribe to me to see more. And until next time, bye!